Right now in the crew, I am a crew engineer, so I'm happy to hear to answer your questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa. I am the crew biologist and crew health and safety officer for this crew. So that means that my responsibility is to make sure that any of the activities that we do, people are being safe and that they are feeling well throughout their time here at the camp. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, but I really live in Maryland right now. I go to the Uniformed Services University, which is the military medical school. So I'm actually an active duty officer. I just had a little bit of time off and I was able to fit it coming to this mission in my schedule.
Oh, hello, everyone. My name is Karen, and nice to meet everyone. Here on the crew, I am the biometrics officer, and that is checking everyone's temperature and heart rate and blood pressure, making sure everyone is within limits and trying to identify any potential problems. Because as you know, even on the space station, they do that about 3 times a day. So a little bit about me. I'm finishing up my master's degree at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and look forward to chatting with you guys.
Hi everyone, I'm Rena Tolentino. I'm the crew astronaut and executive officer. Astronaut, yes, that's right. I'm an artist and astronaut, and I'm in charge of the de-stressing and astro wellness of everyone in the crew by creating art on Mars. And as the executive officer, I am here to assist our wonderful commander. And I have my BA in Communication Studies. I live in Los Angeles. And yeah, looking forward to talking with all of you.
So that's the crew right now, and we are really excited to answer some of the questions that you have sent over to us. So is Cameron Sharp? Hi, Cameron.
Hi.
I hope you're there. We can't see you, but thank you for the question. So the question from Cameron, he asked, how do you communicate when you're in a simulation? So who wants to take that? Who wants to take that?
We have
walkie-talkie. Yes, Rena's going to show you how we communicate in the simulation.
So, here's an earpiece. And so you put it on, and you have to make sure it is attached, clipped to you right here. And then here's another clip to speak into, because when you're wearing gloves and you have your backpack and everything, and you can't reach down, this would be the easiest way to communicate. So we have these walkie-talkies to communicate with each other outside, or sometimes we don't need it inside the habitat, but most of the time we use these walkie-talkies when we're outside. So this is how we communicate, and it has a really wide range to communicate. And yeah.
We're going to give a demonstration.
Yes.
We'll have Rena as the astronaut doing the EVA, extravehicular activity. That means she's outside the base camp. And then we have Jaslyn. She's what we call HABCOM, or the habitat communication person that will communicate inside the habitat with Rena. So do you want to give a demo? Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. HABCOM Arena copy.
Yes, this is Rena.
Okay. What's the temperature outside?
The temperature outside is about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, no winds.
60 degrees Fahrenheit, copy, over. What is the time that how much oxygen you have left with?
I'm left with about 70% oxygen level, and it's about 3:05 right now.
Copy that. And it's the time for you to come back to the airlock, and airlock is ready for you. Copy, over.
Thank you very much. Headed to the airlock.
Airlock is secure. You're ready to enter.
Airlock is secured. Can we start the recompression sequence?
Decompression sequence starts in 3, 2, 1, and you have a decompression for 1 minute.
Thank you very much.
That's
So that's an example of how we communicate. We usually have someone in Capcom to communicate with the people outside of the terrain, and the best use this.
Thank you so much, Rena and John. Let's give them a hand of applause. Yay! Move on to the next question, which was sent to us by Julian Palomino. Hi, Julian, if you're there. Everyone say, hi, Julian. Thank you for your question. We're going to give this question to Melissa. And Melissa, Julian asked, what type of technology do you use in space or simulation to research objects?
Sure, that's a really good question. So in simulation, our technology, just in the few missions that have already happened with specifically Mars Academy and the medic side, there's a lot of changing technologies and a lot of adaptation. So they've incorporated technologies including 3D printing of tools. We were able to put together some new tools that Susan had thought of that was really interesting to experiment with surgery in space by taking a big tub of water and putting gloves in it so we could insert our hands and make a microgravity environment. So things like that, where the technology on the simulation side is changing, and it can be things that we brought in with us, like a 3D printer, or it can be things that we made with our own hands to try to test some of those questions that we were talking about with your principal earlier. So it's always changing. In space, there's the best of the best technologies, but even then, they have to be prepared for improvisation and making things when there is a shortcoming with the technologies that they have. But overall, a lot of it is just either what you brought or what you can make with what you have.
Yeah, so that's why it's good. Anybody want to add a little bit more to this about what other technologies? 3D printing.
Also, there is future missions. There is planning on doing a virtual reality and augmented reality. What mean by that? You remember that there is new video games where you put your goggles and you can see like playing down there for playing golf or any sport. Well, we will try to incorporate that to help the crew members to train them and also to make them remember how to make surgery, how to intubate, how to do emergency procedures that will help them to have a better performance at Mars planet.
Let's move on to the next question. Wow, we have lots of really interesting questions, didn't we, everyone?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Questions.
These are really, really interesting questions, not the really boring ones like what's life on Mars. Thank you so much. It's really, really So thank you. So the next question we got was from Deasia White. That's a beautiful name, by the way, Deasia White. And your question we're going to give to Rena. And Deasia, Rena asked, what kind of things have you discovered while in simulation?
Wow, that's a really great question. I discovered many things during simulation, like how to perform suturing surgeries, how to create art in space, how to do meditation in analog. I've also discovered so many things about so many different people coming into these missions, about their cultures, and also what it's like to live on Mars. You know, there's a lot of many procedures that every day we don't really think about, but it's the details that matter in these procedures. So yeah, and then there's also 3D printing. You know, we make cool tools, surgical tools in these simulations that literally, like, you're seeing it created within minutes, and then you can use these tools. You can even make kitchen utensils. So there's a lot of discovery and even self-discovery, even about yourself, that you'll find out once you join.
As we have our biometric officer, Karen, she'll tell you what is biometrics and why do we take it.
Well, biometrics, as I mentioned earlier, is really to keep an eye on, the crew members' health. You don't want to be in space and then all of a sudden someone gets really, really sick or whatever. So when you take the blood pressure and the weight, your pulse, your heart rate, all of those things are indications of whether you're dealing with the environment well or not. So of course, if you go into, deep space, one of the things that we'll probably talk about later is the time delay that there is. So it's very important that the crew themselves are monitoring each other, and especially the person who's supposed to be logging all of this information so you can actually look at it to see if there's any changes. To see if the person's oxygen level is at the right level. What was it yesterday? What was it this morning? Why does it look like this way today? Maybe they need to have more liquids. Their heartbeat is just really, really high. Is there something that's causing that? Their blood pressure is really, really low or really, really high. And being in an analog such as this, where you're dealing with medical professionals, this is the best environment because medical professionals can pretty much jump on it right away and start analyzing, well, maybe you didn't have enough water. Maybe you're getting too cold. You may need another layer of clothing. Maybe you need to eat this particular type meal for the next 2 days. So that's why the biometrics is so important, because it really, really gives us a snapshot of each person's health every day. And we actually do biometrics twice a day. First thing in the morning when we wake up, last thing at night before we go to bed. And if we happen to go outside to do, any extravehicular activity, which we call EVAs, we actually make sure that we're healthy enough to do that. So we do biometrics then, and then once we get back inside from the elements, because we're simulating being on Mars, we actually go back and we check biometrics again. Because you could have been affected by maybe a leak in your suit, that you could have been exposed to radiation or something along those lines. So you want to be able to catch those things immediately. But that's the importance of biometrics.
Hi, my name is William Moore, and my question is, how many people can go into space?
How many people can go into space? So since this is the last question from the student, we're going to have everyone to answer that separately. So let's start with Melissa.
Okay, so at one time, I'm the doctor, I don't know the engineering, but at one time, there's only a certain number of people that we can sustain on the space station at once. There's typically only a crew of several people at a time up there, and they'll rotate out, so some more people will come, it'll be some extra people, but then they'll be changing people back out down here. But as we look to the future, everybody can go to space. I think it's just a matter of, that's okay. But everybody can go to space. It's just a matter of the technologies of how we develop our spacecrafts and the systems to take people there and to help keep them healthy there. But technology is changing all the time. We have private companies that are working on it. NASA's working on it. So in the future, a lot of people are going to be able to go. Right now, it's limited with space capacity, but.
Karen?
And just like Melissa said, there's a lot of commercial companies that are working very, very hard now to get people into space. There was a time that, we say the word astronaut and people would say, oh, okay, NASA, and that's it. But now, you have all these different companies, to name a few, if it is that you have Google, you can go look at it, SpaceX, Blue Origin, Spaceship 2 just launched just last week, to do their maiden voyage, to check out their airplane, to make sure that everything was good. So that's something that you can look into also to see, how that was done, because that's what the future looks like. Just about anyone, will be able to go into space. It's not just going to be restricted to being selected by NASA. So yes, great question. And the future belongs to everyone in that room, because you'll have a chance, I would say, within the next 5 or 10 years, if not sooner, to get the opportunity to really, really go into space, whether it's as far as the space station or as far as the moon. So, it is very, very possible.
Yes.
It's a great question.
Rena?
I don't really know how to expand on those answers, but pretty much they covered it for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Jasmine.
Okay, I can talk about the previous missions that they have. Like they used to send the astronauts in the space. They usually they send like a number of like a 3 astronauts or a 4 astronauts. Like the recent commercial crew that they are designing, they have 4 astronauts selected. They're gonna send, but at the same time, along with those 4 astronauts, they train in a very exactly the similar way the another 4 backup astronauts. They are trained in exactly the similar way, because the training is not just like couple of days. It's a training for couple of months, and sometimes it leads to 2 to 3 years training as well. So they have to make sure that the front deck selected astronauts, they sustain until the end moment. But if something goes wrong with those astronauts, they take the astronauts from the backup astronauts to make sure that their crew is fit to go. And but there is no access like we can say that this is the only limited astronauts can go. The reason why they're restricted to the number like 3 or 4 is just because of the size of the spaceship that can carry the astronauts to the space. But maybe in the future we have something which can carry more than 4 to 5 astronauts.
Yeah. Ed, thank you. Edu,
Okay.
Commander.
Well, until today, there are only 2 space agencies that send people to space. It's the Russian and the Chinese. The Chinese is a copy of the Russian, so we can have 3 persons in the spaceship. The Russian spaceship that is called Soyuz can carry 3 passengers to the space station. When you go to the space station, there are 2 Soyuz spaceships docked. So you can have 6 persons inside the space station outside time, because if there is some emergency in the low Earth orbit, you have 2 spaceships to escape. And well, we don't know a lot about the Chinese, but they are also sending their people. And this is not the only country. Like, we have a lot of technologies here in the States. We have different private companies that also work with national aeronautics, but we also have other countries like India, we have also China. There is also the European Union that is also working with them, and they have like one of the launching sites is also in Latin America, and we have the launching sites from the States. We have the launching sites of Kazakhstan, and we have also the launching sites of China. So hope in the next future we will have more and more people so they can discover and can be amused about the amazing world of space.
Maybe someone talk about simulation food. Maybe Melissa. What about the food did you discover?
The food is great, actually. It's a healthier diet than my real life. We've adopted a mostly vegetarian diet with this crew, and it actually, so we eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, lots of salad. We do mix it up. We have tuna and things like that as well. We get protein, but overall, the diet, we're on a nutrition plan right now. So we're experimenting with a healthy diet, and so far everyone feels energized, everyone feels healthy.
No chips.
No chips, no candy,
No fries,
no Gatorade,
no French fries, no McDonald's.
Yeah, so the diet, it's on a nutrition plan, so we're mindfully trying to eat healthier on this mission. I heard that Rena could tell a little bit about prior missions, they ate some more of like readily available food that was easy to pick up in stores, so like camp types of foods or camping foods. So this is a pretty special mission where we got to have a lot of say in our diet, and it's really healthy.
And I can add a little more on that. It's like the reason why we are doing this thing is because we know that the Mars mission to Mars or any long duration mission is not going to be something that going to International Space Station where we can get the supplies from outside. Over here, it's like we have to go there with the limited resources, and then we have to go and figure it out what is the next thing we can make out of those supplies. So that's why we are trying to get into the diet where if we are eating such sort of things that we can actually grow over there or come up with some new ideas to make the replica or something like these days, some of the researchers from the previous Mars missions, they are working on doing the food printing. They are designing a replica of chicken or replica of meat that we can make it from the vegetables basically. So that's why we are trying to see that if we adopt ourselves with such kind of food habits, is this like making any changes in our health in a daily basis? So if something we can bring some new changes. So I think that's one of the reasons. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think keeping healthy, because space is hard. It's hard for humans. We're not adapted to live in space. So when we go to space, our body starts breaking down really fast. So eating healthy and being mentally healthy and happy most of the time, I think it's the way to be. So this is good. This is good exercise for us. We're meditating. We're meditating to keep our arms outstretched. So what we would like to do is do a shout out to the students there and to you. Thank you so much. It's been really, really exciting. We really enjoy this. So I want the crew to say Mars Academy USA Crew 1119 after 3, okay? And then you're going to go, yay! Or live long and prosper. Ready? After 3. Mars Academy USA Crew 1119. Live long and prosper.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye from Mars.
Bye.
Bye.